Hey everybody, have you seen a chemical reaction before? Well, let me show you something cool. This is a homemade lava lamp. And what do we know about lava? Well, it spews out of volcanoes and it helps make islands. We're not going to try and make an island today, but let's recreate that reaction with the help of science. That's how lava is formed. Wasn't that cool? That's just one of many different kinds of science experiments that we have. But today, we are going to focus on UV light and circuits. And so this is going to be a very cool thing that I want to teach you about how light works. Because light is very important. Did you know that in Genesis, one of the first things that the Lord says is, "Let there be light"? Well, let me kind of illustrate that for you. Let there be light. Isn't that cool? And just like that, I can also turn it off. But today we're going to learn all about how to turn light on and how that energy works in our wide expanse of a universe. In our homes, we have something called a light bulb. And this all works from circuits. Now, what is a circuit? Basically, it is a closed loop. And in this loop is all this energy. Now the question is, where does this energy come from? Well, it is powered by something that gives energy. It gives power. And we call those things power plants. And those power plants can be windmills, they can be gasoline, it can be something like solar panels that you guys see on top of homes and buildings. All of that is capturing energy. And then that energy is sent to a circuit that is a closed loop. Now, just like this light bulb, I was able to turn it on and off. What does that mean? It means that there is a switch. So in a closed loop, if I flip the switch, it breaks the loop. And that means the energy is no longer connected. And so that's when the light is off. But when I flip a switch, and then it's connecting the loop again, energy runs, and we get light. That is how circuits work. You should have all of your items, but just to make sure that we got everything, we're gonna go through this together. The first thing that I want to show you is the board. We want to have this because it's going to tell us how to build our circuit. There are labels that we're going to follow, and it's very important. So remember, have your board. The next thing that I want to show you guys is a diode LED. Basically, it's our light. And I want you to take a really careful look at it. You see the bulb. This is where all the light is going to come through. But there's another important thing. If you turn it around, you're going to be able to see that one is a little bit longer. One leg is a little bit longer than the other one. You see right here? This is very important. In power and in batteries and in energy, there's something called positive and negative. The longer side is positive. Can you say that with me? Positive. The shorter side is negative. Can you repeat after me? Negative. So which one's positive? The longer leg. Which one's negative? The shorter leg. This is going to be very important when we come to the battery. So let's talk about the battery. This is your battery. This is our power plant. Remember how we talked about the energy source? This battery is going to power the light that we just showed you right now. And this little battery has a lot of power, and it's going to be able to power your light for up to over 2 hours straight. But remember, just like at home, you don't want your light on all the time. We need to turn the light off and save energy. So we're going to introduce the importance of a switch. Before we get to anything else, I want to show you what holds your battery. This here is a battery case, okay? A battery case. You're going to put your battery in here. And just like the light, this battery has a positive side. You can see a plus sign. That's how you know it's positive. And then it has a negative side, which is the other side. It's kind of like a coin. And this battery goes into this battery case. And we'll show you a little bit differently later how to do that. But it's going to fit in nice and snug into your battery case. And that's how your battery works. The final thing that I want to show you is our power line. This is a copper tape. And you want to take this copper tape and put it on the board where we have the lines drawn. What this is going to do is it's going to take and transfer energy and power from the battery to our light. And that's how we're going to send all of the power and get our circuit to work. All right? So remember, you have your board, and this has all the labels. We have our light LED diode. We have our battery in its battery case. And finally, we're going to have numerous copper tapes, which are our power lines and how to transfer energy. These are all the tools and all the resources you should have. So make sure and check your kit. All right, everybody, now we're going to build our circuits, and we're going to learn how energy flows, and with the switch, how we can break it so that we're not always using up energy. Now, here is what a final product looks like. Now you may say, wait, I don't see the light on. That's because we've built in a switch. So right now, this is an open circuit. Can you say that? Open circuit. And in open circuit, it means that energy is not connected. So from the power plant or our battery, energy is currently going through the wires, but it's not connected. And so the light won't turn on. But if you look very closely, if we make it a closed circuit, can you say closed circuit? Good job. A closed circuit means that energy now can be connected and transferred. This is our switch. When I press down, did you see how the light came on? Now it's a closed circuit. Everything's connected and energy is flowing through. But as soon as I turn off the switch or let go, the light turns off. This is a gentle and fun reminder to tell you, don't keep your light on all the time. When you're not in a room and you're not using it, make sure to turn the light off. And this is what your final product will look like. You guys ready to build one? All right, let's do it. All right, everyone, we're gonna start building our circuit. So we need to follow these instructions on the board, all the different little details. We're gonna see that there are plus signs. This means positive. So what does a plus sign mean again? Positive. And there are also minus signs. Do you know what this means? It means negative. So what do the minus signs mean? Negative. Positive, negative. Positive, negative. This here is where our battery is going to go. Remember, we've been talking about power plants and energy sources. Our battery is our power plant. These lines will be where the copper tape or the power lines will go. And this is how the energy will be transferred. You see here we wrote LED light, and that's where your light goes. So, just with me, before we tape anything down or do anything final, I want you to bring your light and let's put it where the light is supposed to go. Do you guys remember on the light which leg is positive and which leg is negative? Well, if you said that the longer leg is positive, you're right. So we want to make sure that the longer leg is on the plus side or the positive side. So just go ahead and put your light there. Now, I want you to grab your battery and your battery case. And we're going to know that this side is positive and this side is negative because if you look real closely, you're going to see a plus sign and a minus sign. So where does the plus sign go? Right here with the positive, right there with the negative. And on the battery, the top where it has a plus, that is the positive side. Where's the negative side? It's the other side of the battery. So this is negative, positive, negative, positive. And we want the positive side of the battery to be up on the battery case. So I want you to put the battery right next to the battery case like that. And then finally, you have all these different lengths of copper wire, copper tape. This is going to go right where the lines go. Now this is tape, and so once you peel it and you put it on here, it's going to be very difficult to peel off. And if you peel it off, you're not going to be able to use it again. So make sure to be very careful when you use the tape. All right? So I want you to put it all on your board like this. And this is how we're going to get started. I'll give you 3 minutes. Make sure you see everything. Make sure that the positive is on the positive side, the negative is on the negative side, and you see everything and you have all your pieces. Double check. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our power plant activated. And so how do we do this? I want you to take your battery, and you see here on this positive side, if you look very closely, this here is something that I call a claw. And that's going to clip your battery into place. This right here is not a claw, and it's a negative. The battery is going to go on top of this piece right here. So let me show you real quickly. When you put the battery in, you want to start on the positive side. You want to put it under the claw. You see how the claw is touching the top of the battery? After you have that, you're just going to press onto the battery and clip it in. And we're done. This is what it looks like for the battery to be in the battery holder. Make sure that you can see the claw on top of the battery. Just to be sure, let me show you what it shouldn't look like. This here is a battery that's in the battery case in a wrong way. Can you tell me what's wrong? If you said there's no claw, you're right. We don't have a claw on our battery. That's because this battery was put on top of the claw. This is bad. We don't want that because our battery case needs to be able to touch both the negative side and the positive side. If we just put it on top like this, it's only touching the bottom of the battery. That's the negative side. And so the energy won't work. So if you do this, I want you to open your case. We want to pull the claw up. So you just kind of put your finger in there and you pull the claw back up. And then you take your battery, put it under the claw so you can see it, and then you just put your battery in. This is what a correct battery, a finished power plant, should look like. Alright, so now we've finished the battery. We're going to put this to the side for now, and I want you to grab your LED light. This is our light. And remember, the longer leg is the positive side, the plus side. What I want you to do, and it's very flexible, is to pull on the wires. Don't worry, you won't break it. But if you pull too hard and you pull too fast, you might break it. So be careful, but at the same time, it's very flexible. You see how I can move it like this? So it's pretty strong too. What I want you to do is I want you to put your light on the lines. And so you kind of got to spread it out, and you got to make it flexible and play around with it until you can match these legs to their lines. The spacing is very important, and so do your best to spread it out and match the lines. And then we're going to put the copper tape or the power lines over it. So we're going to keep our light here, and I want you now to grab the longest tape, okay? This is what we call the negative tape, because there is no switch. There is no break in this tape. And so take the long copper wire. You're going to peel the tape just like this. Now, it might curl on you like that. You want to be, it's totally fine. That's completely normal. It won't be too sticky, but be very careful not to rip the tape. Stretch it out like this. Okay? And then I want you to put the tape on to the wire. So you're going to hold that. You're going to put the tape onto the light. After you do that, you're just going to follow the line right there. You see that? But I want you to leave this last bit up. Why? Because we're going to bring in the battery. The battery goes right on the line. And you see this gold little plate here? Go ahead and pull on it just a little bit. Just a little bit downward like that. And so it's angled down. And I want you to put it on to the line. You see that? That's where our battery is going to go. I want you to make sure that you have enough copper tape. And once you see that, go ahead and put that tape down. Okay? And then that's where your battery is going to go, on top of the tape. Let's do the other side. You should have a somewhat medium length tape. This one is going to match here. And so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to peel the tape. It's going to curl up. We're just going to slowly and gently unfold the tape. You see, it's pretty sticky. And then we're going to put it on to the line. There's our tape. Now this is where our switch is going to go. So we're going to leave that alone for now. And then what you're going to do next is you're going to pull out another copper wire. And it's going to fill out the rest of the spot all the way to your battery, okay? So let's peel that. And remember, this is where our battery goes. And so you want to make sure that it can reach from the line to the battery. So let's put it down right here. And so we know, so you see how I might have a little bit of room here? This may happen because we're trying to cut the tape for you as best as we can. But it might not be perfectly matched to the line. That's okay. Instead of putting the battery here, where you see that it's not touching the copper wire, you just want to move the battery up. That's all we have to do. So don't panic, don't worry. We're just going to scoot the battery up so both sides are touching the copper tape. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes. Go ahead and set this all up. You're going to take your LED light, match it to the wire, put the tape on it. Don't tape the battery down, and you're just going to make sure that your battery has a place to go. All right, ready, set, focus. Okay, if you have been working on your board, it should look a lot like this. We're almost there. But like every good science experiment, we need to make sure that before we make everything final and tape the battery down so it holds in place, because right now it's not taped down, we need to make sure that it works. And so, in your kit, you should have a second LED bulb. This is going to be our test bulb. So what I mean by that is we're going to make sure that everything works. So again, look at your positive leg. That's the longer one. Your shorter leg, which is your negative, okay? What I want you to do is I want you to take your battery. This is how we know if your battery is in the right spot, if you made it correctly. On the positive side and the negative side, we're going to flip it over. You see these gold little plates, these gold bits of the battery case? You're going to take your positive leg, you're going to try and touch that gold plate. And you're going to take your negative leg and you're going to try and touch the negative. You see how the light turned on? Maybe I can hold it up like this. So again, if I touch the positive and then I touch the negative, you see how the light turns on? That means my battery is working and my battery has been put in the right way. Testing is a very important part of science because we want to make sure that we're doing everything right as we go along. So remember, you want to take the positive side on the positive end, negative side on the negative end, and your light should light up. Now, if we flip the battery back over and we put it on the tape, remember, this is our power plant, and this is a circuit. Right now, we can put our positive leg on the copper wire and then our negative leg, and you see how it lights up like that? Isn't that so cool? That is a closed circuit. But if you put it over here, you put the positive and then you put the negative. Why doesn't the light turn on? Well, it's because there is an open or a break in our circuit. Remember in the very beginning I told you that this is what a closed circuit looks like. And then energy can flow. But if we have a break, kind of like right here, energy can't flow anymore. And so our circuit is now open and there's nothing that can flow. And we want to make sure we're going to close it with a switch. That's our next step. So after you've tested and made sure that your battery works, and you've made sure that this beginning part works, we're ready to move on to the next step to connect the rest of our circuit. Why don't I give you another 3 to 5 minutes and do your testing and make sure that your light is working. Ready, set, focus. Okay, after you're done testing, I want to show you the most important part. It's our switch. As you can see here on our board, the switch currently is what makes everything connect. You see how that works when I press down and I connect? And so this is a very important piece that we need to be able to make. Let me show you how to make it. You want to take your copper wire and you want to bend this white part that it's sticking to in, okay? We're going to use this piece to stick and connect this copper tape to this copper tape. On the other end, I just want you to press in just a little bit like that. We're not going to peel the tape. You want to leave the tape connected on here, okay? And this is our switch. This is what we're going to press down on in order to connect this piece to this piece. After you've done that, you're going to tape this on here. You want to make sure it overlaps. So you don't want to put it here. You don't want to put it here. You want to put it on top of the tape so that it is connected and overlapping. And then your switch needs to be long enough so that when you press down on it, it's going to touch the other side. And you see what's happening on the light? It's turning on. And so that's how you know our switch is working. This is an open circuit. Remember what happens in an open circuit? Energy is broken. And so it can't connect. It's not sending. And so it won't turn on. But if we connect it with a switch, it is a closed circuit. Can you guys say closed circuit? And that means energy is flowing from the battery to the light. And then from the light, it's going back to the battery. And it's a loop. Okay? So this is very important. Check your switch. Make sure it works. And then we'll go on to the next step, all right? So take another 5 minutes. Build your switch and make sure everything connects. Ready, set, focus. All right, everyone, this is one of our final steps. We're going to secure our power plant in so that it can stick to everything. You should have seen 4 very smaller pieces of copper tape. These are what we call our security tapes. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take this tape and you're going to peel it, and we're going to use it to secure our battery. So you want to peel the tape, and where you see the little bits of gold that touch the copper, those are the legs, you want to tape it down. We're going to put it into place. Okay? Just like that. See now how the battery's staying in place and I can move it around and the battery doesn't move anymore? But we still have to do the other side. So go ahead, peel the tape, and then I want you to tape down the other side of the battery. And so now it's in place. So if you flip it over, it stays on. Now we have 2 more pieces left, right? Well, this is what I just like to call extra security, because electricity is very powerful and very strong. We want to make sure our light doesn't fall out, because if the light falls out, it is very, very bad. So let's put on extra security tape onto our light. This is going to make sure our light stays super secure. Just like that. At this time, I want to remind you how important it is that the power lines are in place, because this is what's going to transfer all of our energy. And it still works. Everything's in place. We're all set. So I'll give you another 3 to 5 minutes and make sure that you secure your battery down so it doesn't move. And we have our finished circuit board, okay? Ready, set, focus. right, everyone, you should now have a completed and working circuit board. This is essentially now a flashlight. You see how I can use the light and I can point it at things? But what's really special about this light is that it is a certain UV light. That means it is ultraviolet. And it can show certain things that the eye cannot normally see. And here's what I want to show you. You're going to have in your kit a blank piece of paper. Now, were you wondering, wait, why do I have this paper? It's been here all this time and you haven't told us what to do with it. Well, this is what I'm going to ask you to do. We're going to turn the lights off, all right? And one thing that UV light does is it can show us things in the dark that you wouldn't have normally seen. So, here we go. You ready? Don't get scared. It's going to get a little dark because we're going to turn the lights off here. 1, 2, 3. Now, if we use our light and we turn it on and we look onto the paper, can you read something? Do you see it? What does it say? It says, Jesus loves you. And that's something we want you guys to remember. Jesus loves you. And just like He is the light of this world, He is a light who came into the darkness. And He is the one who made our sins as white as snow. It is by His love we have been saved. And science shows us that He is the ultimate light. He is the one who made all of this possible. So, isn't that so cool? Turn on your light and try to see the secret message that your VBS teachers are sending you, because we want you to know that Jesus loves you. It might be a Bible verse, it might be a word of encouragement. Go ahead and find out and have lots of fun. Great job, everybody. Way to focus and finish that science experiment. I just want to say that you did an amazing job. I'm sure you're having lots of fun, but there's just one more thing. I want to let you know that we got you guys a little gift. This is called a UV pen. You remember the secret message that you just looked at with your homemade circuit light? Well, this is something very simple. This is how we wrote the message. This pen, with this special ink, you can write it down and then the normal eye won't be able to see it. But when you use the cap, which has a UV light attached to it, just like the light you made, this is going to show what you wrote. So now you can have a lot of fun sending awesome, loving, secret messages to Jesus, your parents, your friends, about how good He is to you. I want you to just have a lot of fun with this pen and just enjoy this gift. All right? Have a wonderful VBS. Thanks for joining us here in the Science Lab. I hope you had a lot of fun.